Yeah, I'll react to that. Sure. Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Good, good. Understanding soccer in Europe in 4 simple steps. A guide for Americans. Now, I hope that didn't make any static noise. I played soccer growing up. I was never great. I was never terrible, but I am quite aware of most rules. But Jesus. Yeah, I was never a big watcher, you know? Like I'm still to this day, I'm not a huge sports fan. I very much enjoy watching the NBA finals, the Super Bowl. I try to get into hockey, I really do, and I just can't. The same thing goes with soccer or football for you guys. And I don't know what it is. I can watch football, but I'd say if there's a sport where if I had to stay still and watch the whole game, I would most enjoy an NBA game, basketball. So I was never a big soccer watcher growing up. So, but I do know the basic rules, I think. But let's give a refresher. Original link to the video, top of the description below. My name's Connor. Rhode Island, New England, America, that order.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans.
Okay.
Although from the outside it may seem complex and confusing, to understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things. Number 1, each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from
Bundesliga, Premier League. What's the Spanish?
August to May, in which each team
I gotta
plays.
shut up.
Each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0,
and 1 for a tie.
and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other teams twice, the team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy, a parade, and the season is over.
So there's not even a final game before you get the trophy. There's no playoffs. This is just my opinion. It can be changed, but I feel like I prefer the playoff. I prefer playoffs. It seems sort of anticlimactic, doesn't it? Just like, all right, all the games are played now. All right, add up the points. Oh, you win. You win the trophy.
Most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy, a parade, and the season is over. There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2. Books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2. Relegation. We'll use the German League as an example. Every year, when the German League has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division.
Cool, I like that.
And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not owned by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates or Oakland...
I like that a lot. That's awesome. And so who the 3 teams to get I'm so sorry. Kicked down to the 2nd division, they have to prove if they come in the top 3 the next year, they can be put back up. I like that a lot. It really gives an incentive because a big thing about sports in America is when you get to a certain point and you know the draft next year is going to be based, your chances of getting top players is going to depend on how poorly you do the previous season. This really puts the fear in the eyes of a team that, hey, you don't want to just throw and end up in the bottom 3 because then you're going to have to prove yourself in the lower league. And so I like that.
Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league. What if instead of coasting to the bottom for better draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end?
I love it.
To avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone. Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation.
Because that'll keep the competitiveness the whole way.
Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3. Each country also holds an elimination-style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left, who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade.
So which is more coveted? Like, which is more sought after? The bracket-style win or the regular win and like you have the most wins?
So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Number
Euro
4.
Cup?
The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League, and it is without a doubt the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world, period. Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm. And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well. So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members. So
it's not like each country gets a certain amount of teams. It's just flat out the best. How many?
Each September, the top 32
32 teams. So even if like all 32 teams are spread between like 3 countries, those are still the 32 teams. It's not like each country like is guaranteed at least a spot.
Teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year. After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August.
So there's 2 sort of different. So one is where each country, the best record at the win-loss record at the end wins one of the cups. And then the other one is played simultaneously throughout the season with all divisions to So are all 3 of them completely unrelated or
also even some amateur teams like cup games that whole lack of playoffs part. Number 3. Each country in England.
What was number 2?
Keeping to be, but all 0 to 2 complex. Number 1. Using each country has its own.
I get that. What's number 2?
As an example, every year when the German league has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of
I get that.
as Pittsburgh bottom relegated teams on financial lack of playoffs part. Number 3.
I get it. So the first one is the one with the best win-loss record wins the cup and gets the trophy in the parade, or wins the trophy in the parade. The worst 3 teams swap with the best 3 teams in the lower league, the league right under it.
Each country also holds an elimination-style tournament.
And this is still just within individual countries, where anyone in any league can play to decide that winner. And so does this have any impact on the Euro?
Referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from, if they do well, can progress and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left who play each other in the cup final.
This is still just within an individual country.
After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy and a parade. So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country...
Okay, so the league champ, and so it's not just the cup champs that are going to the Euro Cup. It's the two simultaneous leagues kind of going, the league champ and the league, and then the cup bracket. And then out of those two things, they see who the best teams are, and then they're sent to the big finale.
Europe all got together and played each other. Good idea.
I understand. Let me know if I got something wrong. Awesome video. Cool. There was another video you guys wanted me to watch about European football explained for Americans. I'll watch that as well. Understood, I think. Let me know where I'm wrong. Hope you guys are all doing well. If not, you'll be good soon. Don't worry. See you next time.